Hello and welcome back, everybody. I'm, of course, Cobra X, coming at you. Well, not live, like always. But, nonetheless, this is our Week 12 in the review, where we have, let's see here. First off, I'd like to have tonight's game's predictions for tonight, and that's the Bills versus Patriots. It's at 8:15 tonight, Eastern Time. I think the Bills will win this game, despite no Von Miller for this game. He's still injured. Um, Pat's offense, Patriots offense, is not going to be able to compete with the Bills. Josh Allen, I think he will be able to beat the Patriots defense, especially if the Patriots defense that's been showing up, especially last week, shows up tonight. It's not going to look good for them because he's tied with, I think, Patrick Mahomes touchdowns with, I think, 23. And Diggs is probably going to run wild because that secondary looked like they couldn't stop crap the other day. And I'd expect the exact same thing that Bills have been doing week in and week out, and that's finding ways to win games. And, yeah, I'm going to have Bills by probably at least 10 points in this game. Now, going at our week in review, week 12, since we're on week 13, I always try to do this typically on Tuesdays, but there was a lot of family emergencies and situations going on within this past few days, so it got delayed. But here we are now, and yeah. So first off, I want to talk about Monday night's game, and I believe that was the Steelers and Colts. Steelers, of course, winning 24-17. They improved to 4-7. Colts moved down to 4-7-1. Playoff hopes for both are basically dead, but there's some life. Who knows? The whole AFC, the whole NFL is just riddled with, if you're at 50-50 right now, you still have a 50-50 chance to make it in because of the fact that this year is just not going well for a lot of different teams that are normally playoff contenders or close to it year in and year out. That being said, Pickett to Pickens continued. Like I was told you, if this was going to happen, they were going to win. That 35-yard reception, though, it's a great fucking catch by Pickens, and that set up for the touchdown later on. And although he's not getting the receptions, but he led in receiving yards. And Pickett's no touchdowns as far as throwing goes. I think it was only like 190 yards, 22 for like 28 or something. He's pretty efficient. But that run game stomped and walked all over the Colts. Along with that defense, looked solid. Run game was solid. And what really helped is Ryan continuing to struggle week in and week out. He's better than the other guy they got, but he loses the first half too. Sometimes the first half Ryan will look pretty good, and then the simple fact that afterwards he will start to fall apart. It's like they make adjustments at halftime, and he does nothing to do the same. So I apologize for the sound in the background, washer going, whatever. Nothing I can really do about it. That being said, the only Colts highlights I seen was their special teams kicked ass. I mean, before that half, that 45-yard return, and by Isaiah Rodgers, that looks pretty freaking cool. And then the I believe the 90-yarder return. Man, too bad he got stopped and didn't go straight to the house for 100 yards. But I think it was Dallas Flowers did that in this one. That was like I said, the only highlight too, that the run game got completely shut down. Ryan looked below average at best, and Colts lose again. Like, I really thought they were going to be borderline playoffs, but I didn't think Matt Ryan was going to, all these quarterbacks that I didn't think was going to, have the drop off as they did. Brady at times. Rodgers is looking like a kind of a train wreck. Wilson, all these guys not doing as good as they're supposed to be, especially Russell Wilson is fucking trash. But that's besides the point. So that being said, then I'm gonna have to say the Eagles and the Eagles and Green Bay game. Eagles winning, of course, 40-33 against Green Bay, improving to 10-1. They got that blemish from a couple weeks ago, and Green Bay drops to 4-8. Their playoff hopes, to me, in my opinion, they're done. It's done. It's over with. Now Rodgers is injured. He doesn't know if he's done. Jordan Love, though, I thought personally, he played pretty solid for the limited action that he had. Yet again, 0 run game for Green Bay. Watson is still proving, though. They feed him the freaking ball because he is now your number 1 guy. He should be the go-to guy for that offense for the Packers. I mean, he had 4 receptions for 110 yards and a touchdown. I mean, that's pretty making the most out of your opportunities because that's very limited, getting only 4 receptions in. And he had a couple, I think he had like a 53-yard run reception and a couple others. That beautiful touchdown. But that being said, it doesn't matter because Hurts put the hurting on him. Jalen Hurts ran all fucking over him and all the way around everywhere. I mean, he had 57 freaking rushing yards. Ridiculous amount. I think 17 carries. 2 touchdowns in the air to boot. Love to see the new... I love to see running quarterbacks. I like it. I know that's a new thing. But I've always liked it. I love Vic. He was one of my first favorite quarterbacks coming in. First started watching NFL back in 2005-ish. That's when I first started watching, 2004. And I was actually an Eagles fan before I was a Ravens fan, believe it or not, for about a year or 2. Then I switched to the Ravens in 2006. Started recognizing more of that defense, got to know more, about Ed Reed, Ray Lewis, Terrell Suggs, that team clicking all together. It's too bad that team didn't go to the playoffs because they would have destroyed people. They could have won another Super Bowl under that defense that year. But anyways, off topic. I love how the running quarterbacks are exploding off this year in the run game. With Miles adds two more touchdowns and 143 yards. They had 500 total yards on offense, so yeah, I don't know, man. They, Green Bay, what are you doing? I know you're better than this. It's just, the Eagles just ran right over them. Put up a good fight, but in the end, you're not going to win games giving up 500 yards on offense. Sorry. Good night, Green Bay. Anyways, that being said, that was, like I said, that game was just nuts. Onward to I'm going to say the Raiders and Seahawks game. Raiders beating the Seahawks 40-34. They improved to 4-7. The Seahawks still down 6-5, but still not out of the playoff hunt. And the Raiders, I guess, could maybe make a push for a playoff wild card since they have an extra one nowadays. I was dead wrong. I thought the Seahawks would win this game with their defense and everything else, but Raiders got it done in overtime. It was a back and forth game all the way across. Carr had a good game. Josh Jacobs, though. Hold up. Beast mode. 33, 229, 2 runs with freaking 6 receptions and 74 yards at that in reception yards. There's a reason why they even had a chance in this game was because of him right there. Carr played okay, but I mean, Jacobs was beast mode, man. He went off. And that's a lot of carries, too. 33 carries. I mean, Seahawks D, big holes in the run, stop game. Should have, this defense just should have just stayed at home in this one. I mean, not really, but you know what I mean. Like, might as well just stayed home, took the loss, even though you guys put up a good fight. Walker still played pretty decently. Gino did I think, pretty solid game, but not enough to beat that Raiders and Jacobs. Seahawks, your pass rush is pretty decent, but the run defense definitely needs improvement because that can't be happening if you guys want to make the playoffs and make a push. So, what I say to you is, I guess, go Raiders in this one. And that was a pretty hard-fought game. I tuned into the fourth quarter and watched overtime and stuff, and that was pretty nice to see. That being said, I'm gonna go over to the cover the Browns and Tampa. Browns winning this game 23-17. They improved to 4-7. Tampa's now down to 5-6. Also, Tampa not out of it because their division stinks. Literally the worst, I think, division overall. So they can still make the playoffs, but Tom can't do it all. He just can't. He played pretty decently. 29 for 43, 246, and 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. I mean, that's pretty solid. That's a good solid game. Run game still stalling out. Can't get the run game going. It's just Rashad White looked pretty good. He's averaging. He only had 64 yards altogether, but he was averaging 4.6, I believe, yards altogether as well. So it's not like he was getting stuffed. On average, he's going to get every 2 plays almost. He's getting a first down and carries. That's a Rashid White. Sorry, my bad. And but Chubb and that run was the reason, and the lack of that defense for Tampa. They're just too damaged. It's kind of like the Rams, like we covered the last couple weeks. Too many injuries, too damaged, and yeah, they just can't. They can't get it done. Plain and simple. That being said, Chubb just did so good. I mean, key plays by both. Amari was 794, and David had the touchdown. Penalties for Tampa, huge problem, by the way. 9 for 70 yards. And your third down problems continue to happen as well. Because you can't be like 20% on third down and win a game. Time of possession, also, the Browns controlled that a little bit more, but it wasn't so demanding. But yeah, it's basically what it came down to is their defense, giant holes, can't stop the run. Penalties that hurt them, that stalled out good. A couple decent drives that got just stalled out from penalties. It's sad. They just can't get it all together and put it together for one whole game. I don't know why. They just can't. So, like I said, Browns winning that one 23-17. Tampa, get your stuff together, man. What is going on? We're going to next go over to the Chiefs and Rams game. Chiefs winning, of course, 26-10. Rams are measly 3-8 now. That's sad. The Lions have a better record. Anyways, but go Lions. Chiefs improved to 9-2. Obviously, the Rams had zero chance with so many injuries. And they needed to focus on building back for next year at this point. Cooper Kupp out. Mahomes is good, but he did throw a pick. I mean, he wasn't perfect, but still freaking great. And Travis Kelce, Mr. Number 87 there, 4 receptions for, 57 and a touchdown. 10 different players, too, by the way, had recorded at least a reception in this game. 10 different receivers. 10. Look at that. I still have all my fingers. But 10 different guys. Spreading the ball out. Don't care who's... As long as you're open, you're going to get it. That's basically all Patrick cares about, is getting the ball in open space and making the most of every opportunity, which he tries to every time. Damn good quarterback. I think he's the top quarterback in the league. Second, I could probably say Lamar Jackson. We're not gonna rank stuff. Not as of lately though, because Lamar, your last game. We'll get into that later. And also, yeah, we'll talk about that in a little bit, because damn Lamar. Stop it. Not much to really say about this game. It's just, like I said, it was over from the beginning for the Rams with injuries, Stafford out, Kupp out. Oof, just wasn't that great. And we'll move on to the Chargers and the Cardinals. Chargers winning the game 25-24. Another great close contested game. Chargers improving 6-5. Cardinals down 4-8. Now, I will say this. Both Brown was back, looked pretty good. Had, I believe, 6 receptions, but he had 120 yards. Murray's run game was pretty good with Connor, so it's not like the Cards were playing, terrible. Murray being back, they looked pretty darn good. But you know who looked even better than them and why they won? Justin frickin' Herbert. That's why, with 35 out of 47, 274, and 3 touchdowns, baby. I don't think he threw an interception anyways. Chargers, 0 run game, but gets it done through the freaking air. Herbert gets it done. They ran when they needed to. They got some decent plays, running plays, but not that. There wasn't that few and far in between. That being said, they get a comeback win. They went for 2 at the end. Looked great. Like I said, Herbert looked great. That man is ascending. Allen came back for this one again as well. Allen had a solid game. Looking better each week. I know that they're going to keep him on a snap count type of thing for a game or so here. Probably, maybe next week he'll probably be full on. And I think they're going to get Williams. Williams should be back, I think, for this weekend as well. That being said, we move on to the Saints and the 49ers game. Okay. 0 Saints. Blank. Nothing. Nada. Zilch. 4-8. The Niners, 13 points. Very defensive game, like I thought it was going to be. They moved to 7-4. Like I said, defense on both sides of the ball looked really good. The game, like I said, all defense, dude. But with that, the run cannot be stopped with 49ers because they're so versatile. Like I said last week, they have multiple guys that can beat you with the run. You don't know if McCaffrey's going to run or if he's going to go out off like a small slant or something and catch a pass. You don't know what's going to happen. that defense suffocated the Saints offense, gave no chance to score or win the game. Jimmy looked good, 222 yards and a touchdown. Saints D looked really tired at the end. I think that's what gave up more of the points. And Kamara could do nothing. So by the 49ers eliminating the run game, the Saints couldn't really do anything with Dalton. But that's okay because 49ers improved to 7-4. And then we moving on over to, I'll cover that. I want to do that game last because I got so much to cover on that. The Ravens game is going to be covered last. Bears and Jets, I'll do that next. The Bears and Jets, 3-9. Bears go down to 3-9. Jets go down up to 7-4. A lot of good teams, a lot of decent teams, 7-4 this year. I got Bengals now. You got Titans now. You got the Ravens dropping to the freaking Jags. We'll talk about that later. Cause why? Anyways, Mike White. Okay, I was wrong. Flacco was, I think, the third string quarterback or some bullshit because even after a while, they had the one kid come in for, I think, one play too. But I was very wrong about White. I didn't think he was going to be that good coming right out the gate. But that Bears defense just, crumbled apart with him or something. Or they just don't know how to game plan for him because they've never seen him play. They don't have much film. I don't know. But he was 3 touchdowns. 315 and 3 touchdowns. 22 for 28. Very efficient. Okay? But like I said, it's sad that Flacco didn't get the start. But that's fine. Mr. Zoom Knight there, 69 yards. Pretty impressive looking for the running back. It looks like Robinson's been traded away and now he's just sitting there. Knight should be their running back though because he looks pretty dang good. Defense, typical Jets game, ground and pound the rock. Wilson did pretty good too for receptions. He had 5 for 95 and 2 touchdowns. With that, including that 54-yard touchdown, dude. Yeah, exactly. It was a bye-bye moment too. It was like turned on the Jets. That Jet man, he was gone. And CJ towards the end there got the interception to put it away, and that ends that one. So like I said, Jets move up to 7-4. They looking pretty impressive with that defense still. Sauce Gardner and company looking great. We move over to the Bengals and the Titans. This was also another good game. There was a few good games this weekend. It's getting pretty competitive. Bengals winning 20-16 over the Titans. They're both now 7-4 teams. So Joe ended up with 22 for 37, 270, and a touchdown. And that 27-yard touchdown to T looked beautiful. He had 7 receptions for that game for 114 and a touchdown as well. And then the run game looked okay, but still definitely needs improvement. If they're gonna they need to be able to put more than 20 points on the board. 20 points enough to beat the Titans because their offense, which is okay, and don't get me wrong, King Henry is a fucking beast. He's the only reason that keeps that team alive on offense. The defense is solid; they're pretty good, but like I said, and the penalties that held them back. 9 for 80 yards. Chase was still out also. That Tannehill 68-yard pass to Henry that was then dropped and then picked up by Trey Burks. That was for his first career ever touchdown. That was pretty cool how that all worked out. And by the way, Burks looked good. 52-yard reception as well in that game. He's looking better and better for that rookie. Finally getting more looks. I think definitely by next year he's gonna be their number one. Clear cut number one receiver. And like I said, then we'll go to no, I told you we're gonna save that one for last because fuck all that. Next we'll go to these games. I'm sorry guys, shitting around here, but these games here, we'll cover the Texans-Dolphins game. Oh, what can I say about this? Dolphins win 30-15 against the Texans. Zero competition. Quarterback Texans have looked slightly better, but still not great. The Dolphins has put up 30 freaking points. That includes Tua looking fantastic for 22 for 36 and 299 yards and a touchdown. I mean, Tyreek and Waddle duels for their 85 yards apiece. Dolphins defense looks a lot better with the 5 sacks and 2 picks. Howard had that fumble recovery for a touchdown, and then Baker later on with the sack fumble that's also given them that record that they have now. Puts them the best. This is probably, I believe this is the best start they've had in 21 years. So it's been a while since Dolphins had this strong of an outing. They've had a few playoff appearances here and there, but they've definitely had their drought as well for a long time. That being said, though, defense, like I said, looked great. If they keep playing lights out like this, they're going to be definitely a playoff contender for to go deep in the playoffs. I don't think Super Bowl, no, but they might get to. And if they ended up losing their thing and getting in on a wild card, they're going to win their wild card, and then they're going to probably win their if they win their divisional, then that would be even cooler. But I don't think they get to the divisional. I think they win the wild card and then lose in divisional round. That leads to the AFC championship, the game before. Tua looks good. They didn't even rush in this one, I don't think, at all. But, anyways, now I'll move over to the Commanders and the Falcons. Commanders winning this game 18-13. They improved to 7-5, shockingly enough. The team that kind of like the Giants, low expectations. They're starting to look like a good team, especially on the defensive part of the ball. Defense, I think. The only highlight I think the Falcons had is Marcus took off on a couple of decent chunk runs. Other than that, defense won this game for sure, along with their run game, of course. With that Brian Robb there, 105 yards, and Darian Forrest, dude, forced to be reckoned with 8 freaking tackles in that game. He was everywhere. Could not be stopped, dude. I swear, I kept watching little bits and pieces of that game, and they did enough to win. I think he did enough to win. The run game was good. But that defense is what won that game. Hands down. Payne had a solid game as well. Defensively, I think they're going to be good. They need to work on the offensive line, maybe improve a quarterback, in my personal opinion, or get him a little bit more help. Although I do like that Terry kid receiver. But anyways, moving on to Broncos and Panthers. Okay. So we had the Broncos, we had the Panthers. Like I said, this has been a very pretty game. But nonetheless, Whoops, sorry about that. Nonetheless, Broncos lose again, 10-23. Panthers get the win. They move up to 4-8. Still not gonna make the playoffs. Broncos done. Russ still looks like at average at very, very best. Why, I don't know. Murray looks solid with 92 yards. Hello, Sam Darnold. Where has that Sam Darnold been since college? I mean, he played pretty decent. He does enough to win the game. Panthers rushing attack for Foreman, 113 yards. Hubbard had a decent game as well. I think he had 50 or 60, I think 63 yards, I want to say. And time of possession dominant by running that ball down the throat of the Broncos defense, and that top defense, which the Ravens faced this week. Not looking good. The pass rush was there, but Sam still had a decent game. He was pretty efficient too. So, bottom line, Panthers win this 4-8. Playoff hopes for both teams all but pretty much done. Finito. I mean, the most that they can finish right now, both teams can finish 9-8 on the season. Remember, because we add that extra game of 17 games, odd number. So no longer 8-8, so you can finish 9-7 or 9-8 on the year now. So, or 8-9. Yeah, not good. So moving on to the Ravens, going down to 7-4 because the Jags beat them 28-27 at 4-7. This is a wild game. It shouldn't have been wild. It should have been very tame. Should have been a very dominant Ravens game because they need to win these games. Jags are in rebuild mode. Yes, Trevor Lawrence is a decent quarterback. Yes, they have different pieces and parts on their defense that can put up a good fight at times. But it's just they're still in rebuild mode. They still got pieces to fill. They still got just teams borderline a mess. And to lose against them was just, this all basically falls on Lamar Jackson, who had an okay game. It's just like 89, I think it was 89 rushing yards and 190 or 200 or something like that passing yards and then one touchdown. Give Jags credit for this game. But what really hurt them was Gus Edwards towards the end there. Right after they scored the Jags scored a touchdown, they come back to catch up. Because again, the Ravens being up by I think 10 points at one point in time. It was a close game in half, and then after that they started pulling away. And then once you hit the fourth quarter, again we hit the wall and we can't score in the red zone to save our lives. And Gus on that one play, fumbling the ball and turning it over, which that's not on that part's not on Lamar. He has no control over that. That's not his fault. And it stinks to see Gus cough up a ball like that when he doesn't normally turn the ball over like that at all. He never fumbles. The man is a beast, and I like him as a running back. And that being said, that's snapping. I think it's 160 plus games losing streak for after they were behind by 7 or more points. The Jags have not won a single game. Now they have one game. One in like 162 out of 162 games played. So they're not a comeback team to begin with, and like I said, they should have won this game. And we shouldn't be relying on Tucker to save our asses at the end of the game, because 67 yards, he could technically make that, because I've seen him in warm-ups and practice and this and that make 70-plus yard field goals. Granted, that's no pressure, but I've seen him make a 70 before. So, he can make it. And it was direct. It was just short. It was like maybe 3 yards short, but still, it was direct, right in the center. It looked pretty. It was just short. So, that being said, he probably could have lined up at the probably do 64 or 63, no problem. He would have had that, and it would have been game over. Defense was just gassed towards the end. They looked a little confused at times, too, in this game. But run game was okay. Like I said, though, those mistakes once you get in the red zone and back yourself up, the time management, the play calling of Greg Roman needs to be faster, and it's not. I can't believe John didn't have the analytics for that. The question that was asked, if they had, if play calling comes in early or if it comes in towards the end while the time clock is running down, what's the percentages of success rate based off of those times? And he didn't have that, which is weird because I swear John has an answer for everything. But he said he's going to have to look into it. But anyways, that being said, like I said before, that was sad. And it was even more sad to see after the game that since they lost, of course, emotions all high. Lamar going on Twitter, responding to that fan who basically said what I said, only then he dug even deeper and saying he should give up Lamar, which is stupid, and they shouldn't give up Lamar for a decent team. They have a decent team right now. They can afford to work around things. I'm thinking they're going to find a way to sign Lamar, and they're going to find a way to sign Roquan Smith, and everything will be fine. So you might have, if I had to pick anybody that's big cap hit to probably take off, even though I do like him, but he had a few miscues on this game too, and that's Marcus Peters. When he's balling all out, he's a ball hawk. I think he's got to be up there in the top, one of the top cornerbacks as far as the most interceptions in the last 3 or 4 years. But that being said, Lamar, he shouldn't have done that, but he'll learn his lesson and move on. He's not typically the one to do that in the first place, and that was very out of character for him. And yeah, that's basically all I have. Like I said, enjoy the game tonight, guys, and I will see you in the next video, which will probably be posted tomorrow or Saturday. Until then, Cobra X out. Bye.